Go.
Great, Brad.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 in the place to be. I'm your host, Adam Mill. To the right of me is Quan Bizzle. In the middle is Jamba One. To the left of me is Sikuz the Governor. And back with family, Skills Mega. How's everybody, man? How's everybody weekend and so forth?
Doing good. Doing great.
That's what's up. That's what's up. We got a extensive night. So we're gonna talk about the food stamps thing with Donald Trump and the government. Then we're gonna roll to Chance the Rapper and his genius idea, hard copy, and his music. And then we're gonna finish the night off with Big L's album. Skills put me down with West Side Gun. I didn't know that he dropped the joint, and I listened to that. I listened to it twice actually. I liked it. Me personally, I don't know how albums are like judged nowadays. I mean, it's subjective, but and I'm just being brief with it because we gotta go to the food stamp thing. It didn't sound. It sounded more like a very great mixtape than an album to me, or a well put together underground album. If that make any sense, right? Because the reach that he has, and I'm sure that he didn't want to make it too dramatic or commercialized. He wanted to keep it raw and how he came into the gate. So we'll talk about that later on. All right, Trump was telling people about the food stamps thing, and I did a little research on it, right? Because I ain't want to seem stupid. Hold on. See what the brother talking about. Downloading. Please now, my data is slow. Okay. Okay, so I did my little research on it, right? Hold on. And I typed in, who's the majority of people who gets benefits, benefits from SNAP, right? White Americans. Did y'all know that?
Yeah.
We knew that.
Yeah. Old news, right? Old news. And the reason why they get a lot of benefits, because who benefits more off this country? White Americans. So it's not a thing of, who needs it more. It's more so that the benefits, the privileges, we're going to give it to y'all more because y'all first in line, and then the blacks, and then the Latinos, and so forth, right? So, but for some reason, we are the poster child of worry. We are the poster child of crisis. We are the poster child of, oh my Lord, it's coming to an end. And then you got these foolish brothers and sisters online talking about they're going to purge or start killing white people for food on TikTok and stuff like that. That's raising, foolishness. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, why are we the poster child of things like welfare, Section 8, when clearly is the majority of them are white folk due to white privilege in Western society in the United States of America, right? So it got me to thinking again. I think we was talking about this last time. I'm gonna let y'all cook. Start growing your own food. Start being more independent. Start eating less. Because, no, seriously, feel me? Because when I traveled across seas and I seen how people, how their idea of food and how they grow food and how much a lot of people cross seas. When I was in Morocco, excuse me, I ain't see too many fat people or obese people in Morocco. A lot of people in the Muslim world, they eat once a day. Technically, you're supposed to eat once a day. Real talk. But us as Americans, we're taught three square meals a day and snacks in between. And you wonder why when something gets shut down like food, it can just break down society that quick and then people go into anarchy. You get what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
I'm gonna let y'all cook. But I remember Obama in 2011 did a test run on shutting down food stamps, and in Atlanta, I was in Atlanta at the time in Georgia, Stone Mountain, Georgia. People went crazy. Black people was losing their mind, bro. You seen the shiciness on people looks. Just going to Walmart, you was in danger. Real talk. I'm not being funny. So again, how many times they're gonna warn us, you know what I'm saying, or throw um, little test runs out there to see how people will react. Anyone's welcome to go, I normally go with Gov first. I'm gonna go with Gov first. Go ahead, Gov. What you think about it?
Kind of like the same thing as before. It's the same type of test run in many ways. We got people talking like, say, I noticed one thing I saw someone had said where they said that it would be okay. Why don't they just set it up where they could just give you a warning next time? You know what I mean? It's like they're trying to let you know we're going to shut it down again. Next time it could be a permanent shutdown. You never know. But it just goes to say what you say. You can't always be dependent. You depend on it, they're gonna put it with strings attached, you know what I mean?
Facts.
And with those strings attached, and I think it's like a little flex. We're seeing the flex. They're showing the power that they can do. We can do this at the whim of that, at the drop of this dime, at the drop of that, we can make this happen. So we're seeing that happen. Now, as far as this being a shutdown, they always have these keep happening because they haven't even passed the budget since Clinton was president. So that's why these things keep happening. So
So do you think, like I mentioned before, should this be a wake up call for black people to be more independent, or should we just go by? Okay, we scaved that one. Let's go back. It's, no, it's normal business. It's normal business. It's back to business as usual. You know what I'm saying?
all of these events should be a wake up call to actually do things. You know what I mean? Versus just lay back and just keep going with it as it goes. You know what I mean? Oh, that was the last. That's the last crisis. Okay, let's just float to the next one. What we gonna do next? That's in many ways. That's what we kind of see play through social media the last week or two. A lot of people talking about food stamps, then all of a sudden that went on pause. Halloween, everybody dress up. So, you know what I mean? So
Thanks.
we saw that play out. Where's the parties at? Where, you know what I'm saying? We seen all of a sudden we went from that crisis to we gonna party real quick, and then we gonna go back to the crisis. So that has to wake up. Something has to wake up with that. You know what I mean?
That's true. That's true. I think we just we're pacified, and I want to speak on our community first, because we're in our community, so I can't vouch for anybody else. Um, Black folk, I believe since the era of the '60s, since the Black Panther era is ended, we don't take anything as imperative or a dire situation where we really, 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 got to govern ourselves. We don't take nothing serious. Everything is pacification. Everything is a distraction. Everything is, and I'm a stroller too, because it's like, damn, I never been hooked on any hard drug like crack or anything. I can just imagine. I'll be strolling through TikTok, and y'all know I be what you call it? What's the word when you keep sending people stuff, man? I be spamming y'all.
Yeah.
I be spamming y'all, don't I? I be spamming y'all with stuff. Cause I'm strolling
Mhm.
through TikTok. I'm being distracted. And I had to catch myself like, God damn, I done sent y'all like 5 or 6 goddamn TikTok joints and one I'm bugging. Um, Jammer one, you on the mic, bro. What you think?
Yeah, I don't know why they like to put black folk under a microscope and have black people looking like the face of welfare out here. For most black people, we pretty much have it together. We take care of ourselves. Um, Thing is, you should be able to depend on your government in times of need, but you shouldn't depend on your government for just basic living and all of that stuff. So it's there to help, but I think the issue is when people abuse the system, and it's a lot of abusing of the system happening. And yeah, it ain't that's crazy because when they was talking about it and whatever whatever media outlet you was watching while he was talking about this whole thing, all you see is them interviewing black people, in particular black women. And it's kind of annoying. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Because
Like
black
we the
women work really hard. They like black women.
I'm gonna build on that. That's a great point. That's a very poignant point. But go ahead, Jamie. I didn't mean to cut your wisdom, Lord.
Yeah, black women is one of the hardest working demographics in the country, but they
And
always
the most educated demographic in the country.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say pretty much. I just think it's crazy and it's insane. Whatever happened. We just gotta be ready to just look out for each other. Yeah.
all right. Skills Mega, and then we're going to go with Quan Bizzle. I don't know. The brother had technical difficulty. I think he be
He's
back
back
on.
now, though. First and foremost, there's different points I want to touch on, but I'm not going to go too far into it. But as far as the once a day thing, I fully agree with you. You know what I mean? Elijah Muhammad pushed that and how they live. You know what I mean? And as far as black people needing to be self-sufficient, that's also something that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan pushes heavily, and I agree with. All right. Now, as far as taking things serious, no, we black people, I do think we need to take things serious, but it's so much that is happening to black people in this wilderness that we call North America that we have become highly desensitized to things. Like we seeing it right now. New York had a flood. You feel me? New York was flooding the other day. Jamaica's going through the hurricane. People are making TikToks. People are swimming. You feel me? People are swimming in the flood. People are making all types of jokes. Like we don't take nothing serious. You know what I mean? And then why we the
Yeah.
face of welfare? I think that to me, I think that black people, even though we make up 13% or whatever the percentage is of the country, we have immense spending power. So clearly we go to work and clearly we have money. So why are black people the face of welfare? Well, it depends on who controls the media. You know what I mean? And that's the picture that they want to push of us. But when I think of welfare and the quote unquote welfare queen, you feel me? When he said that, it made me think of like where you feel me, like on some 8 Mile, you know what I mean? Like we know
Yeah.
who the majority of the people on welfare are, you know what I mean? But they want to push it as if it's black people, as if it's mainly black women. So they would, to counter or to respond to Jama One's point, they would mainly seek out black women because they trying to make it seem like it's going to affect black women the most. And it would affect black women the most because we're the men in the household. I'm not saying black men not in the household, but that is the stereotype for our people. You get what I'm saying? So
Yep.
they want to further proliferate that stereotype by making it seem like it's mainly going to affect black families and black women and exclude a black man from that issue. And as far as should the government take care of me, I think that the government has a responsibility to take care of its people. But at the same time, like in America, there's a big homeless problem, especially for veterans. If they're not taking care of their veterans, why are they going to take care of a person like me? That's for damn sure not going to see it. So, but yeah,
Yeah, that's a strong point. Before I let Quan Bizzle cook, then I'm gonna go to Bubba Sharif. Um, that's a strong point. Like, they're not taking care of their veterans. And they should be used the government should be used in the form, as far as our taxpayer money and what they're supposed to do, as far as when a crisis occurs. And they barely want to do that. We've seen what happened to Katrina and so forth. You get what I'm saying? So, um, just having black people as the poster child, whatever, it's just displaying further um, forms of racism again.
mm,
And I think it's stronger than ever because you have this internet and it's just the algorithm is throwing out the racism at an all time high and what they really think of us. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna let Quan Bizzle cook right now, and I'm gonna let Bubba Sharif cook.
My personal opinion for me is a big deal, but it's not a big deal. Each era, each in history in general, humanity has had their adversities. You
Yeah,
know what
that's
I
what's up.
mean? Um, even when it comes to COVID, we never thought something like COVID would happen in our lifetime, but here we are. Everybody in this panel is still here. Everybody in this panel is still alive and well. You know what I mean? Especially when you're in America and in a you're in something like America when they're going to throw these haymakers and gonna throw these lefts and these rights to you all each generation, each time, each person, each one of us, regardless of the race. This is something we get used to and kind of like how skills say, we became desensitized to it. You know what I mean? But for me, it gets a little deeper because Amazon is laying off their workers. A lot of jobs are laying off their employees right now. You know what I mean? When you go to the music industry, when you go to the movie industry, we go to all these different industries and these jobs and these places. A lot of people, even celebrities, even wealthy people, a lot of people are trying to hold on to what they got. But we on the bottom, we as the regular citizens and as underground artists and everything, we're trying to already make it up there, but now it's becoming a classism thing. Now it's no more of too much of a race thing. You know what I mean? They're saying, why have these normal employees? Why have these people that get tired, these people that need breaks, these people that need bonuses on holidays when we can have these AIs, these machines to do our work. You know what I mean? The world is moving into a different generation, a different era, and a lot of people are going to have to adapt. A lot of people are using AI. A lot of people are making music videos of AI, making videos, content of AI. It's more than just the food stamps going off and the welfare going off. That stuff is temporary, and they might do it permanently. But oh, well, hey, I was hearing myself for a bit. My bad. They might do it permanently. But the biggest thing I see from this, without going too complex and everywhere, we need to prepare for the future. We need to prepare for what's coming. We need to adapt, and African Americans, Africans, we are always known to adapt. We are always known to be greater, and we always know to be one step ahead of things. So we need to adapt now. We can't rely on the government, the same people that brought us over here and to enslave us, right? Um, we can't rely on the government. I can't really feel about that. I think the echo is coming from somebody. Hold up. Hey, someone else talk real quick. I'm gonna mute the mic.
Yeah, I was gonna say I hear an echo. I don't know if everybody else heard it.
It could
We
be
all
mine.
hear
Is it
that.
coming?
Yeah.
Is it coming from mine?
Yeah. One, you said something.
Oh no. I think Sharif. I think is coming from probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coming from mine.
Yeah, it's good now.
Okay. Yep. It's good. But I'm gonna I'm gonna end it off because I know Sharif wanna get to this point, but at the end of the day, it's just all about preparing for what's coming next and being able, even for someone. I know this is not really necessarily about music, but a young upcoming artist like me, you got to adapt to people. You got to adapt to how to get fans. You got to adapt to how to make money online, how to advertise yourself online. You know what I mean? These people are moving way faster than us. These people are thinking ahead of us. This is a minor distraction to what's yet to come. A lot of people are gonna be out here down bad because a lot of people weren't going to adapt and weren't willing to adapt right now. A lot of people are not willing to adapt, not willing to learn. So that's all I got to say right now.
Assalamu alaikum, brother Sharif. How you doing, brother? Can you hear me?
Salam, I'm grateful, bro. I mean, how y'all feeling? Yeah, can you hear me? That's the problem.
Yeah. We can hear you.
Can you hear me? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah. We can hear you.
Okay. All right, cool. All right, bet. Because I told you my data's a little off. The relevant topic on the stamps. All right, not the stamps, but everything else is going well. You know what I mean? all opinions are relevant because we don't hold truth. You know what I'm saying? Like none of us are the absolute truth makers. You know what I mean? Only one absolute truth, and that's the one who created the world. So, but anyway, I would say this. I ain't surprised what's going on is going on anyway, because America is doing what it was designed to do. I'm just surprised that we surprised about it, to be completely honest with you. You know, like this is ancient. They put the sizes to Jills right in your face. You know what I'm saying? They just wanted to have, they understand that people, this is a shift that just happened. You know what I mean? And they understand that it's going to be, but because of our duality, our ability to incline towards that which is lustful, our urges, our inclinations, our desires, of our ability to be the slaves to the enemy, which is the enemy, our souls, the rebellious soul, and our ability to ascend. They understand that when this shift came in, some of us was going to go to the right, and I use this in our last one, and some of us was going to go to the left, They understand that. We don't understand that because we don't understand ourselves. We busy caught up in trivial pursuit. Now, this is one thing I'll say to anybody. This is to make this a common sense factor that we really don't have anything to worry about. This reality that we are experiencing right now is a three-dimensional reality, only because
You froze on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you froze.
Hold up.
Try to give him a second or two.
Yeah, I just
Was he probably somewhere in a closed facility where there's no internet.
no, I just bro, just give him some time.
I don't know. He was cooking though.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He was definitely cooking.
See, Gov, see, you weren't about clicking on and off. I'm the one that got edited stuff.
I'm gonna say this though. I don't really necessarily think that we surprised many of us coming from where we come from, whether it be Baltimore City or wherever else people tuning in from. A lot of us are accustomed to the reality of you either hustle or starve. You make something shake or it don't happen. You know what I mean? So regardless of what the government or anybody throws at us, we used to being the most resilient people on the planet.
Back.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it is what it is.
I have two ways to look at things. I think I mentioned this as a topic, but then I strayed away from it. As a black man, as a Muslim first, and a black man, I think that us as African Americans should flee the country. I think we should own our own estate. I know that sounds bizarre to some people and damn near impossible. But Garvey tried to do it in his time. He was correct. He's like the modern day Noah's Ark / Moses. When he wanted to move everybody to Africa and put them on boats, you see how the FBI shut that down real quick. But the Askenaki, is I'm pronouncing it right?
Yep.
Askenaki Jews or whatever from World War II, they could occupy Palestine and America can, occupy them a state, which to me is just modern day colonialism because Palestine was their first choice. I think it was Ethiopia or something was their first choice, right? And from talks, they still want to take that over. They ain't finished. Once they turn Palestine into a resort, they're gonna move their way into the African states. Trust, believe. You heard it from me first. Digressing back. I think that black folk should leave. It's an old saying it's a saying that I made up. Would you want to stay in a household that don't want you there?
Nope.
This is a question I'm asking y'all.
No, so
If you're in a situation or a household or a spot or a job anywhere, and you just know since day one you were there, the odds was against your favor. They don't want you there. They do little trickery tricks to let you know they don't want you there. What is the common logic for a person to do?
the common logic is to leave, but it's hard to leave some shit you built. You get what I'm saying? If my people spent X amount of years building some shit, and now it's like, yeah, I believe that we need our own shit. You feel me? I fully agree with you, but I think that is easier said than done when from a physical perspective more so than a mental perspective and a historical perspective. You get what I'm saying? A lot of us feel like not on some shit where, you know what I mean, what place is better than this? There's quite a few places better for people with melanin. You get what I'm saying? But at the same time, if my people built this motherfucker, like if I want to leave, yeah, that's my choice to do so. And I understand why you feel like that and why black people would feel like that. But I also understand people that feel like we built this motherfucker. We might, you know what I mean? Like if we didn't have that attachment
Yeah.
to it, then that'd be different.
Here's the thing though. That's like you building a building for me, right? House. Lovely house. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even have I didn't have the skill set or the physical ability to build this house. So I brought you over to build a house. Once the house is built up, and you say, damn, I think this part of my birthright too. I did, bring the nails and the hammer and the manpower. I think I should have a share in this house too. And the person say, no, you built it for me. Get the fuck out. We don't want you here. And if you do decide that you want to stay, you can stay in the basement and be good there. You lucky I'm giving you a place. You lucky I don't just wipe you off the map. Because I'm capable of doing that. You get what I'm saying? So what are you going to do? I think this is enough space, more than enough space on the continent of Africa for black people to have their own estate. That's just my opinion. There's enough space on the continent of Africa for us black people to have our own estate, man. Real talk. Because who bringing the most money for America? We do, over 7 billion. Right? Who the culture follow? Us. Who keeps moving around in this country? Us. If every black person was to get up and leave right now, hypothetical, how long America gonna stay up?
Now, I feel you. I agree with you. And even Saha the Prince got a song about that. It's called New Africa. You feel me? I don't know if y'all have heard that song, but Saha got a song about that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
for you, right? Because you know how Dr. King said that he felt before he died, he said that he felt like he led us into a burning house. You agree with that? And you feel like the house, so do you feel like it's beyond repair? That basically shit is burning down and we need to get the fuck out.
This is what I believe, Aki. And I'm gonna be honest with you. And y'all can chime in real quick. The brother said he'll get us on the next front. So after we say this, we can move on to our hip hop. This is what I believe. I believe that we're fighting for equal rights and acceptance. You're never gonna get it. As Malcolm X, the late Al-Haj Malik Shabazz said, he said two things that hit my heart. He said, and I'm paraphrasing, what type of fool will allow his children to be taught by his enemy? Then he said, what type of fool would expect equal rights from his enemy? Think about it. You're never going to have equal rights here. You know what I'm saying? And then the writing on the wall, this house is burning down, bro. From the crash of a dollar to the debt we're in, to bizarre shit happening like monkeys with HIV and herpes flying over the highway, social media, AI. This not us. This is their stuff. This is what they like. And I'm not saying all white folk. Let me kill that noise because I don't want people to say, oh, your nationalism stuff.
That's not the thing you said. You talking about the top.
Yeah, exactly. This is not us. This is not in our nature, bro. Our nature is not to colonize, seek, and destroy and tear things down. If we, quote unquote, conquered the land, we made it better. Look at the Moors.
Mm-hmm.
Every place we went to conquer, we made it better. We didn't destroy it. You know what I'm saying? We didn't build and destroy. We made it better. So I just want blacks to keep that in mind because I think that we're in a mental state where, and it makes you selfish to a degree. Like, damn, I just want, as the Quran says, save you and your family. I just want to just pick up me and mine and bounce.
I made a video actually about this probably about a good 10 years ago. And the thing is, right, like thinking back on some of the stuff that I was saying, I would update it and I would say that yeah, you can and should leave America and create some kind of society elsewhere of your own. But at the same time, if you can't do that, all you need to do all we really need to do is pool our resources. That's all you need to do. Because if you look at the Asian community, they don't have any kind of political power or anything, but they're unified. They pool their resources, so they're a pretty powerful community. Black people could do the same thing. We got all this free land in the Midwest, but don't nobody want to go out there and buy that land. You know what I mean? It's stuff like that. We could literally stay here where we are, but you have to use what you got to get what you want. Too many black people are out here asking for stuff. Give me free, give me my freedom, this, that, and the fourth. If they not giving it to you, you gotta take it. You know? And everybody in this country have the power to do that. You can't do it on your own. We have to unify to do it, but it could be done. We would have to unify to leave the country. But why unify to leave the country when we could put our resources together and create something beautiful?
Yeah, but what about Black Wall Street? What about what happened in what is that park in New York? Help me out. Central Park, Lincoln Park. What's the park in New York? I can't think of it right now.
You talking about Central Park?
Yeah. What happened when the history that I just found this out this year, that black people had land on there. And the reason why that park is up because colonials or white people came, destroyed it, crushed it down, destroyed businesses and houses and communities, and built the damn park over top of it.
The main thing I'm saying is you can literally do both. It don't have to be one or the other, because you definitely need a homeland, which is our homeland, in case what we got going on elsewhere falls apart. You know what I mean? So you just gotta be smart. You had to be strategic about these types of things.
You think about it,
and also like when you think about stuff like Black Wall Street, right? It was so many laws in place that prevented black people from fighting back. Like they had gun laws back then that where black folk couldn't even bear arms. So of course when white people went into our communities, they was able to easily burn it down because we hardly anybody had guns. I mean, some people had guns, but most didn't.
The government supported them though, Jammer One.
Yeah, they did. They did. They literally made it so black people couldn't bear arms at one point. Like all that Jim Crow stuff. We don't have that Jim Crow stuff now though. So it's like try it if you want to. That's the way I look at it.
Gov, you about to say something?
I forgot what it was. I don't know. When it comes to a lot of this though, the homeland. In order to do the homeland, you got to. It's going to take a lot of money and a great amount of organization in order to do that. That's why it would have to start here first. You know what I mean? You can't just go because all right. We can't assume that there's just land in Africa that's just available, just sitting there, just waiting. Because all of these are all been divided among other nations already. You see what I mean?
Right.
And they already got their people that's already there that already have their own intentions to do whatever they wanted to do there anyway. So when you think about coming in, we're looking forward to them coming in. So they're going to say, who are these people coming in with their ways, coming to change our way? So that's going to be part of the fight. So before that would have to happen, there would have to be organization over here first.
Yep, 100%. And another thing is you like going into another established country is problematic within itself. You're probably better off just finding like an island that's not really inhabited. You know, something like that.
Like a Haiti or something, right? Something
similar
like that.
Right.
Yeah. It's so many islands out in the Pacific that, you know, but the thing is getting there, getting it established, you know, building runways and putting stuff together, you know, you have to do stuff like that. Because you had cult leaders who was doing things like that, move into free land and down there in South America and stuff. Like it could be done. It just like you said, it got to be organized,
right.
and it will probably take a few decades to get that kind of organization going.
But then you're gonna have to build systems like the way countries already have, like infrastructures and all that type.
Yeah.
So when you think about all of that, that's why I can see why a lot of people look at that like, yeah, that's nice to say, but can you really do that? You see what I mean? So that, and plus think about this too, in this current given age, everything is so digital now. Physically, like a lot of the physical things don't seem to stand up as much as it used to. Like back in the 70s, you go back to think about Ethiopia, right? They was like a rising power back at that time. This is back during the time when what's his name? Haile Selassie, when he comes around on the scene. They were like a rising power, right? Because they had access because of their geographical location. So United States needed to use them when it came to a lot of their spying efforts and such. But since then, the satellite technology and all that kicked in, they didn't need Ethiopia so much no more. So they stopped sending Ethiopia the money that they used to send them to try to affect the region like the way that they do. This is like one of the game plans they always do. They always flood money a certain way to try to affect the politics of that region so that they can do what they want. So now they don't need Ethiopia anymore at that time. They stopped flooding the money to Ethiopia. So there was a lot of trouble. That's what ended up going. That's what everything fell apart for him down there. So given that, the fact that they didn't need that particular physical location anymore, and everything's like computer now, everything's AI and all this type of stuff. Satellites is now taking over. Physical, like trying to build beyond that is going to be a major hurdle because you think about all the technologies we're going to have to try to put together and make, you know what I mean, just to compete on the global market.
If I may say something, I feel like, and no offense to us, right? But I feel like the wrong people are having the right conversations. You know what I mean? Um, Remember when Akon was going to make that city, in Africa? He was going to make that city, and he was talking about investments into that city, but it failed. You know what I mean? Um, when it comes to these type of conversations, you know, again, the wrong people are having the right conversations, but it needs to be the right people having the right conversations. It needs to be more influencers, more artists. It needs to be more people that are already up there that have that status, that have that influence over the youth and their people. You know what I mean? Because we can say, you know what I mean? And our podcast guests, I'll say it. Um, let's say like skills platforms. Um, Everybody here has their platform, but the people with the big platforms, the people that have their reach, I'm talking about even some of the OGs. I'm talking about Nas, even Jay-Z, the people that can really reach the youth and people all the way to Africa, to South Africa, to Haiti. They need to have these conversations because they have the ammunition, they have the ammo, they have the money, they have the politics to make that stuff happen. You know what I mean? So our thing is, right, we're having the conversation that people want to hear, but the people already up there, they're not going to allow us, they're not going to allow skills, they're not going to allow Jam, they're not going to allow me, they're not going to allow Gov to get up there because they fear once you do get up there, once skills pop off, him and his group with this rapping stuff, and they take it so far up there and they're on the Jay-Z and Nas level, they fear these conversations are going to be a reality. And now your reality threatens their reality. You know what I mean? Jay-Z, everyone else, they're playing it safe, right? They probably had these ideas. A lot of us claim that, well, they're not doing nothing for our community. They're doing what they can. They had these ideas, but are you really going to try to go against the oppressors that didn't want you to go through anything? I'm
I
not giving
mean,
them an excuse, but what I'm saying is at the end of the day, right? There's more is more than just black and white. You know what I mean? It's influence. It's first getting people on board. Now, after you get people on board, like Jam said, it's the execution. Then you don't always just want to throw everything and leave your bags here in America. You want to have a base in America and a base in Africa. You want to have that military mindset. Because when the oppressors they came over here and they took this from the Native Americans, they had a military strategic mindset. They were not playing no games. They had everything in plan, what they wanted, the vision from hundreds of years from now. And everything is set up how it is right now. So we need a military. We need money. We need influence. We need people, not just African Americans. We need Africans. We need anyone that looks like us to be on board with this, and everybody from around the world to be on the same mission.
I
Well,
agree with him, but that further highlights different divides that we have among the African diaspora. You know what I mean? Not all Africans, but some Africans look at us like we're not them. You get what I'm saying? Because we didn't grow up with certain traditions and customs and underneath what they grew up under. And a lot of them, historically speaking, grew up with, I don't want to say, grew up with colonizers as their business partners more so as their adversaries. You know what I mean?
speak your truth, Hawk. Don't hold back. It is what it is. You can
I mean,
people can
okay.
agree. People can agree to disagree. At the end of the day, speak your truth.
So, for example, you got different countries that are aligning with Burkina Faso. I mean, and Burkina Faso is they on their tip of keeping Africa for the Africans and removing European influence. Countries like Nigeria and other countries like that are not with Burkina Faso with that because for financial reasons and also just they're not trying to go with them because like just the backlash behind that. So I just think that I agree with him, but that would affect a lot of people's dollar sign, and that's I don't want to use that as an excuse because I don't think that that's right. But I do think that that's why this conversation won't is not being had at higher levels. You know what I mean? Because a lot of
Yeah.
the people that have that influence also happen to be capitalists.
And
So
at the same time, they slaves to that.
yeah,
That's an illusion in a way. Like all that money that you think they got, they really don't have. You know what I mean? They get the you see the dollar signs, but at the same time they got the price tag of the house they gotta pay for and all this other trappings that go with it because now they got the family members that's attached. So now they in order to keep that up, you gotta stick with the program. You talk against the program in any way, all of this is cut off tomorrow or tonight. So that's
So I'm sorry. Go. I'm sorry.
what I'm saying. That's the handcuffs. Those are the handcuffs we don't see. We don't see that part. We just think that they got this and they got all this money and everything else. But unless if you're the one that's writing the check, you're just an employee. The employee is you're a worker for them. You're not the one that's running the company.
So basically, what you're saying, Gov, and sum it up, they don't hold the power.
Exactly.
They just the poster child, the front man of it. They don't hold the
they
power.
get it.
You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So
They
it's
get-
more black millionaires than ever, and ain't too much shaking on the surface level. Like I said, I don't know what's going on, the underground secrets,
Think
what
about it.
people
I mean,
doing.
They don't because
but
think about governments
go ahead, fam.
trillions, billions, millionaires are you know what I'm saying? We at the bottom. We know
Yeah.
thousandaires. You know what I mean?
But we even see that at the millionaire level, not to cut your wisdom, Governor, but like it blows me sometimes. It's like I'm a big sports fan. I don't know about you, but it blows me sometimes whenever there's a lockout and then the players don't get 100% of what they want. There is no league without us. So what do you mean that y'all have to compromise? And I get it. Everybody doesn't have the guaranteed money that the top 10 or top 20 players has.
Right.
But at the same time, without the brothers, there is no league. You know what I mean? And like you said, we have enough buying power and we have enough to where we can make our own league. Like the NBA is against Ice Cube's Big Three league. You feel me? And the Big Three league has less players, but it's still a black-owned league. You know what I mean? And I commend Jaylen Brown for playing in the All-Star game, even though he's contractually an NBA player.
Yeah, he the truth, man. And I don't want to cut you off, bro. I'm
No,
sorry.
you good. But I'm just saying, like, that's a real thing though. Like, even like people called Kyrie crazy. Like, I don't know if y'all listen to Ransom, but Ransom got a song called They Live. And on the
Mhm.
first verse, he raps from the perspective of Kyrie Irving. And on the second verse, he raps from the perspective of Kevin Samuels. And he's basically talking about how these are people that were trying to help their people, but got tore apart by their people in the media. You know what I mean? It's a very deep
Yeah,
song.
I remember that album. Yeah, that's the one with Talib Kweli featured on that album, right?
Yeah, and
Remember the
and I think Chakra got sampled on one of the songs on that album too.
mm.
But yeah, but like I just said that to say like we see the fear even amongst those who are at the millionaire level. There's no reason why the NBA and NFL players shouldn't be able to get 100% of what they want because ain't nobody trying to watch a replacement league. You
There's
know what I
no
mean?
there's no reason why
Yep.
we don't form our own league. There's no reason why, like I said, I'm just going by what I see on the surface level. I could be completely wrong. Okay, let me put
No,
that disclaimer
you're
out there.
right. But Kyrie said that too, and they called him crazy. They
Yeah,
called Kyrie crazy, and he said that they should make their own league, and niggas tried to make him seem crazy.
yeah. LeVar Ball made his own shoe, and people thought that was crazy, right? But they're by
Mhm.
Gucci and Louis Vuitton with the same material and the same ugly look. You get what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm not downing Nas, shout out to Nas, Jay-Z, and all this sort. But me personally, right, and it's just me, it's just, maybe he's looking at I'm gonna give Nas the benefit of the doubt. That he's looking at what you call it, the end game, right, with this casino. But before I would have done that, I would have gentrified my own neighborhood. What I mean by that is, I would have not done them goddamn projects and turned them into condos, affordable condos. You get what I'm saying? That's what I would have done. I would put more money back into my neighborhood, like with Styles P, shout out to him and the Locks, except for putting up another bar where A-Rab or somebody in there, he made a juice bar that's somewhere healthy where black people can go and cleanse their inside. Because before you can have an outer appearance, your inner soul must be clean. You get what I'm saying? So shout out to that. I think it should be more millionaires because it's more millionaires than ever before. And I'm not trying to judge nobody, but these millionaires are either spewing ignorance through their music or through their visuals, or they ain't doing nothing but bragging and waving a stake in front of their own people, that's poor and disenfranchised. Haven't we had enough of that bullshit? You get what I'm saying?
No,
So
I fully agree with you, but I think that they probably can't tell. I mean, I'm not going to say can't. We've seen historical landmarks get taken down. If you feel me, the Royal, for example, they still got the sign, but the actual theater is gone. But wouldn't 40 side projects be, and maybe I don't know, but in my opinion, wouldn't that be considered a historical landmark because the amount of acts that come from that project? MC Shane, Roxanne Shante, Nas, Mobb Deep, except Ron Artest. Like there's so many different people that come from that project. I would assume by now their project would be a historical landmark.
yeah, or better, like you said, that not tear it down, but at least revenerate it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
There's no way in hell, celebrities that came from out of that region that's in front of our eyes that's successful, that you don't go back and clean that up. And sometimes, man, D's need to be out there in the open. I know the best D's are the ones that no one see, but sometimes they need to be out in the open so it can give people hope. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna end it with this, man. This segment with this. Back in the 60s and 70s, I keep going back to it. Black people did so much more with such little. Look at what happened with the NOI, the Nation of Islam. They built communities, schools, bakeries with very little resources. And you mean to tell me that the Panthers with the food program, you mean to tell me we have more black millionaires than ever before in your neighborhood like
They
ain't
are,
none of that going on?
they're,
Stop,
Yeah,
bro.
you got a point. You
that's,
definitely got a point.
many are paid not, they are paid to go to the sideline to make sure that everybody else remains on the sideline. They're paid to be the distractions so that we don't do those things of the 60s. That was a problem to them. You see what I mean? They had to shut that down. They didn't like that. You know what I mean? Education as a result has changed drastically since then. You know what I mean? Back in the days when you would look at what was going on in the 60s, they were scared to see so many people that was eloquent in their 20s at that time. You know what I mean? Getting up, leading movements and getting people to do things different and speak and to think differently about themselves beyond you're not a boy. Don't take that anymore. You see what I mean? So this was the type of thing that was going on back then. They said, no, we can't have that. We gotta dumb this down. We can't have these people coming out here smart like this. We're about to get the same situation that we got rid of back in the 1880s and all. So we had to bring the Jim Crow laws. We got to do this again. Now we can't get away with it the same way we could do back in the day, because now there's television and radio, and then people are going to tell Russia, and they're going to use that as propaganda against us. So we can't do what we used to be able to do. We got to find something. They dumbed us down. Here we are.
And that's we're gonna